have in the top right-hand corner from the Shopify Rebellion, this is Lambo. In the winner's match, the winner goes through to the playoffs, of course. As in the bottom left corner, it is going to be the red Terran player from Mouse Sports. This is HeroMarine. Best of 3, winner's match, WardiTV European League. Like Lambo was saying when he was on, they've gone back and forth recently when it comes to playing against each other. And yeah, kind of a fun kind of series to follow, because I felt like for a long time HeroMarine just kind of had Lambo's number a little bit. He won, I mean, this year even, the scoreline is not even fair. It's 10-3 in matches, but obviously Lambo won 2 of the last 3, so definitely looking up a little bit for Lambo. Lambo did take some closer series along the way, but yeah, like I say, it's been one of those ones which has been definitely HeroMarine dominated for a while. I was trying to think when Lambo did have another streak up once upon a time, and I'm just looking on I was back in like 2019 though. It was a very different time back then. Yeah, okay, well, yeah, it really has been a tough matchup for Lambo as of late, but he's been doing a little bit better. I feel like HeroMarine, I don't even want to say HeroMarine's been faltering per se. I just feel like he's definitely had a couple more weaknesses as of late. There's a couple of drones coming through. They're going to rally up into the extractor. And yeah, just going to be seeing our Reaper obviously on the way. HeroMarine's going to get that out across to the upper right-hand side of the map. So getting that ready to roll as this SCV of HeroMarine moves out through the middle. And off we go. Hey, MN612, thank you so much for the Prime sub. See, I knew we'd find a Prime sub in amongst you all. Thank you so much for the Prime. I really appreciate it. Thanks for supporting the channel. Getting $1 of that goes directly into towards tournament prize pools. This one has now been funded. Our subs right now are going to be going in towards our December tournaments. So that's going to be what is going along and coming through for the next little while. Drone Reaper, sorry, just making its way to the upper right-hand side, moving toward the naturals. A few lings hanging around, and just going to be seeing a drone taking a few shots of damage. Factory coming through, the reactor building up as the typical dance at the start of this game gets underway. So the Zergling's going back and forth with that Reaper. This Queen pops out and pushes this Reaper away. Just going to be seeing the third hatchery going down during this, so nothing really too surprising yet. It's kind of cool that we get very different maps here. Glitter and Ashes, and then I believe it's Blackburn, then Curious Minds. Just not Curious Minds, sorry, Hardwire. So we didn't see Glitter and Ashes or Blackburn in the previous series, so again, just very different videos on either side going into this matchup, and I thought that was kind of fascinating to see a, you know, just to go from one TvZ to the next, swap out the Zerg player, and the maps change so much. Because in the past, you know, it feels as though we've had the very similar maps being picked for a long time in that old map pool. This one's obviously a little bit different. As the Reaper comes back around into the center here, just going to be hanging out. As otherwise we do see the couple of Hellions coming through. Link speed is on the way, about halfway done. And yeah, that's kind of where we sit for the moment, as our Fusion Core will build up now from HeroMarine. So again, that Fusion Core underway in the main base. And that's going to be a good way to switch this up. So going to play a little bit of a Battlecruiser opening now. From there, we'll see what he goes into, see if he wants to try and play a little bit of mech, or if this is just going to be a bit more of a BC into bio kind of style. Definitely got a little bit of a choice on that. Another depot going down as the two Hellions and the Reaper make their way around the right-hand side. Queen firing a shot. And again, a few more lings coming through. The Fusion Core is about to be done. And a couple of drones just coming up. The Battlecruiser also on its way. As mentioned before, now obviously Lambo, step 1 is figuring out there's a Battlecruiser coming. Because if you don't figure out it's a Battlecruiser, you're going to have not so great of a time. He sees the third CC timing, and say there's a lot of things that could be kind of going on with that third CC timing, so that shouldn't be too weird. You can see it just starts a Bane Nest and the Lair kind of in sync, so again, the Bane Nest can be useful. I mean, if you get, you know, if you get Hellbound, etc., but for the moment with just the BCs, it's definitely not a priority, but sometimes you want that Baneling Nest right now anyway, so you can start Bane Speed as soon as the Lair is done anyway. But obviously, typically, this is usually going to be mech, and as you take double gases now, it is going to be mech. Barracks floating through as well to kill the Overlord, maybe another little sign. And then Lambo is going to need to get a Roach-Roaring down. He's going to need to start going into that Spire ASAP, because this is going to be more than just one battlecruiser. There's going to be a double BC, 2, 3 BCs most likely. And that's why you need the Spire, you need the Corruptors, and of course then you need the Roach-Roaring, because the rest of this army is going to be mech. And trying to play Ling Bane is just not great against mech. I was going to see the Hellions actually doing some damage here initially. BC's just going to go in to try and fight the Queens, as the Hellions are going to try and do well there, and these Zerglings being picked away at. One Queen with a lot of energy on the back, as we do see this Baneling. Ooh, that's a decent connection at the end here too. Hellions now going for the drones, but the Evolution Chamber is good, and the Queens do push this BC back off over to the side. So BC getting pushed out into the center. Here come our Hellions back up the right, just going to go in. A couple of drones already under fire. 4 workers being killed. And it's just going to be seen our Lings getting a wrap around, and those Hellions will go down. So that is going to be a cleanup here. As we do have the battlecruiser of HeroMarine back down to the bottom left corner. The Armado Cannon is being researched as well, so getting that available. Overall, good defense from Lambo. You look at what was lost here. He lost, a few Lings, couple drones, but overall, I think that's fine. Only the 1 Queen going down. Resources lost is a little bit favorable to HeroMarine, but only by a couple hundred. I don't think we mind this at all. Now that Roach-Roaring's coming through, we are still going to get the Baneling speed, so we are still going to play that. We get the +1 missile upgrade, and we do get the Spire, as I was alluding to earlier as well. It is just something that you kind of need, as HeroMarine is going to become Hero Hellion right now with this mech play. Hellions make their way up to the top. Couple of BCs will kind of make their way through to the right-hand side as well. So away they go. And it's just going to be seen again, Hayamato on the way through. Hellions up the top side, and just thinking what's kind of going on here. We do have the Hellions just going to pick up a couple of Creep Tumors out in the center. Creep Tumors being picked off again out on the right-hand side. Going to see these BCs coming through. The Overlord is already going down, so that's a pick off. And now I'm going to see a Roach, just surviving. Yeah, until the Corruptor's out, these BCs are just annoying. There's no easy way to really shut them down. Lambo, he does have the Spire done now, right? So you can go into those Corruptors. We're just kind of waiting a little bit as BCs come back down over here. I mean, you can fight the Spore Crawler. I was going to say maybe get that Extractor. We're just going to Yamato down a couple of Queens initially. And now what? We're just going to target down Queens. Well, we're targeting the one with the least energy, so that doesn't make the most sense per se, but yeah, I mean, a couple more Queens going down. Queens from the high ground transfusing. Corruptors are going to show up in a moment, but I think we are safe to try to teleport out, considering that, obviously it's not going to be a huge Corruptor count immediately. Just going to try and get another couple of drones here, and Overlord as well. This is where the damage of HeroMarine is absolutely stacking up, and at the same time, Hellions show up on this other side. HeroMarine's diving for a little bit more damage. 9 drones go down. The first Corruptor shows up, and HeroMarine teleports away instantly. And right now, HeroMarine is definitely getting going. Maybe I said Hero Hellion, but maybe Hero Machine, because he's playing mech, and mechs are machines, right? I probably could have come up with that one a little bit better myself. Alright, well, Cyclone's coming through with the mag field and Infernal Pre-Ignited, definitely the ground composition that we typically see the most. The one thing about mech is that you can take damage as the Zerg, fall behind versus mech, but you oftentimes find yourself with a lot of ways back into the game. And that usually kind of, catches my attention. I'm always like, man, it seems so crazy that people still play mech in this world where mech just doesn't do that well, mech just kind of, feels like it peters out a little bit. You get into a good lead and you just can't actually end the game. Right now, Lambo looks as though he just wants to... he's teching up further. Fire attack upgrade, melee, +2 missiles. Upgrades are still in the production tab. As the Ling Roach Ravager is going to go towards the rocks there. A few Hellions and Cyclones showing up on the low ground. And you get a few Banelings just morphing into the center as well. It's just getting that set up as one Marine chases down the Overseer around the left. And those few battle cruisers are trying to decide what they want to try and do next. Try and figure out where they're going to go. So yeah, this is not like a big, all-in attack maxed out as Lambo. He's got a future ahead of him. He's got the Infestation Pit coming down too, so there's another part of his plan in this game. There are absolutely plans of what he wants to get done here, as you see the Ling Roach Ravager starting to get in. And that's already going to be a siege tank taken down, so I mean, that's a nice start. I mean, and remember that you're not under super pressure to kind of end the game here because of that follow-up. And the BCs are across the map. The thing with this is you're going to force the Corruptors to come across the map. And once the Corruptors are back over there, the BCs are just going to teleport home, and then they're going to be on top of this army. There's no anti-air here. Although one BC going down too soon. Uh-oh. Two BCs. HeroMarine's lost track of his battle cruisers. He's going to lose all of them. This is really bad all of a sudden. The BCs are meant to be a constant problem in this game as 16 SCVs go down. Did he really get too caught up defending against this? And, I mean, now you've got no battle cruisers on the map. Oh, now I hate it for HeroMarine because the BCs are meant to be really kind of a valuable option that you keep alive. That's 18 supply that you wish you had back. Uh-oh. Well, just going to be making a move. Corruptors kind of flying forward. I mean, the funny thing is now the Corruptors don't have a huge role to play, but they should caustic spray down this base. Like, there's nothing to stop them apart from, I guess, Cyclones obviously can push them back, but I mean, I guess there's no need to caustic spray it down right now. Biles and then the Corruptor attacks will just be okay as Lambo comes swarming through here on Glittering Ashes, looking to overwhelm and looking to win out perhaps, as we do see this tank going down. A couple of Banes being picked away at, and just going to see the Corruptors again down on the bottom side. Just going to see a missile turret coming up in the natural expansion. Oh, a few Ravager bars, and that's going to be the tanks cleaned out again. I mean, do we just have too much? Caustic Spray going for the orbital. It needs to get out of range. It does get out of range. The Corruptor count is dropping here. Obviously, Lings are having a field day on the third base, though, and that's going to be a major issue as well, as the Ravager count might be about to drop down and not really be very healthy, but even just the Lings streaming in right now are going to do well. There's no Hellions here, just tanks and Cyclones. Tanks and Cyclones only do so well for so long. A lot of tanks in the natural sieged up will do very well. But obviously down 50 workers, Lambo will take a step back, rebuild and go again. And Lambo for now will take the first map of this best of 3, going up 1-0. Time to do Group D. We'll try and find something that makes sense. As in the bottom left-hand corner, our blue Terran player is going to be HeroMarine. Obviously down a map to the red Zerg bottom right. Lambo won 2 of their 3 last meetings after only winning 3 out of 13 all year. Can he make this another? Make this 3 out of 4 of their last 4 matches? I mean, that would be crazy, right? This was a little bit the kind of the mech factor, right? And to be fair, do you think HeroMarine, those BCs, they were meant to teleport away when those BCs do not teleport away? You're going to be in some trouble right away, right? It's going to be a little bit concerning. And BCs, they really kind of keep this whole mech army together. They're the counterattack that can come home and defend without taking any damage. You know, they just give you so much potential. So to lose the BCs really means that everything else just seems like it falls apart from there. Imagine those BCs teleport home when the Corruptors show up, and then the BCs help you to clean out a bunch of the Ravagers. 3 BCs overhead just dealing damage constantly. Well, then you don't lose anywhere near as much on the ground. The Corruptors come all the way, you know, back to join that fight, but by then there's, you know, enough Cyclones to push the Corruptors away because there's not much of a ground army left, and the game goes on in a very different manner. So I do think those battle cruisers are the key to the loss there, unfortunately. Let's see what happens with map 2. A couple of gases already here from HeroMarine, and that's because he went CC first. So a little bit different here on Blackburn. Just command center first it up. Mixing it up a reasonable amount. I like it. I can get behind it. As our racks will be completing. And yeah, just like I said, a bit of a different opener to begin with here as HeroMarine. Looks as though he's just going to go Marine and then get the factory down pretty quickly, or drop the reactor once one Marine is done. You just want this one Marine to make sure you can zone out this Overlord, etc. Nope, it's just going to be the factory. But honestly, with the timing, I mean, you're not so far off the reactor anyway, right? So it's just the way it lines up. Factory, reactor. Cool. Because you've also got double gas compared to single gas, so you get up to that 50 gas after really quickly, actually. And that's not something that's the case usually at this point. Usually, you'd expand on one gas, and then you'd take a second gas like now. So already being on the double gas means you've got a lot of gas income very quickly compared to usual. Couple of SCVs coming up. This Zergling speed just trickling along on the spawning pool. Our third hatchery is setting up on this right-hand side, and the Overlord down in the center and Overlord down on the bottom. Across the board looking decent right now. Superior Hands, thank you so much for gifting a sub out to Kybrit for their 2-year resub. Thank you, Superior Hands. I appreciate it, mate. And welcome back, Hybrid. Hope you are keeping well, buddy. As our Hellions continuing through from HeroMarine, the starport is coming up. And we are seeing him with a second factory, which means that we are going to see a little bit of cheekiness out of HeroMarine here, right? I mean, this is going to be, once again, that idea of, I'm going to play something a little bit mech-focused, at least. And, you know, usually this starts off with a Blue Flame Hellion attack. Now, in this situation, actually, you don't necessarily always stick around with the Blue Flame Hellions and play mech. You can actually play a stim pack follow-up after this. It's really important if this Overlord sees the second factory, and that's why he's lifted it off. He's trying to... I mean, why is your barracks over here, though? Like, if I'm Lambo, I'm asking, what the hell are you trying to hide? And, I mean, if nothing else, it's going to massively delay what is an attempt to be Blue Flame. If I'm Lambo, yeah, he puts the Roach Roaring down. I think this is really smart. I think Lambo says, there's no way. Why would your barracks fly over here to start stim? You know, like, if it's TVP, maybe like, oh, you're terrified of Blink, but it just doesn't make sense. It definitely feels like something is trying to be hidden there. And I think that's what Lambo is kind of figuring out a little bit. And he's going to start doing something about it as our Hellions come up around the top side. So, we got a Liberator coming through, Blue Flame setting up, but already Roach is going to be coming out. That's a really great baseline for the defense here from Lambo. Blair is on the way, and, well, a lot of drones continuing up too as we just dive in. These few drones are going to be picked away at. Oh my goodness, well. Yeah, I mean, it's a good baseline, but then you actually need to have the units out. 13 drones already dead, and Blue Flame is not even done yet, so this is just Lambo being caught a bit out of position. Now he wants to clean up the rest of these Hellions. You can see him dancing back and forth with the Lings. Doesn't want to just give them up. And he is finally going to get every one of these Hellions. I mean, it's kind of weird because it's like you lose 13 drones very quickly. But then I guess you're probably not going to lose as many drones in the future now because there's not as many Hellions for the Blue Flame. I'm trying to justify losing 13 drones. Obviously, that's really bad. And that definitely sets you up into a bit of a better spot here. As HeroMarine for sure definitely puts things into perspective in your favor. Yeah, that's a little bit brutal as Lings go running across, and we do see the few Hellions loading up into this medevac, and just going to be going through the bottom side. So now we're going to have some Hellions in the main. We're going to have the Liberator around the top, and obviously a few Hellions can still run through into the center as well. Queens are gathering on this bottom side though, so we have got something in this main base. There was a bit of a wall off here as well. Okay, I mean, it's not impossible to kind of defend this right now. The drones are going to pull very quickly. Evo Chamber and Roaches. That actually is going to be a defense, right? So that part defended. This Liberator over here, though, and there's no Spore Crawlers, so Lambo's kind of let that part of this get away from him. These Hellions are going back to the medevac, maybe? Roach is chasing to the corner. The Queens together will try and fight this Lib. As now the Hellions show up on the low ground, they're going to find this split set of drones. They're obviously just trying to stay out of trouble. 10 more workers end up going down. Okay, it's costing you a fair amount of units as HeroMarine, but you are putting a dent into Lambo's economy, who is going to try and play 1-1 Roaches off the back of this. I don't really like Roaches here, because now you're playing against double factory, and so you're playing against 2 siege tanks at a time. So 2 siege tanks are building at once. I mean... yeah, I mean, if you've got 2 siege tanks building at once, that's just not good. That ain't great, because then you attack with Roaches, it's going to be so many tanks. See, I feel like this was actually a really good read from Lambo, and now it's just going to be falling apart a little bit. Which is a bit of a shame. It's just going to be seeing the Hellions back in the main. Roaches are just not here, right? As the thing is with Blue Flame as well, it only takes a moment and boom, 7 drones are dead, right? It's brutal. It's brutal. Blue Flame is powerful, and that's why it's powerful. I mean, if I'm Lambo, I'm kind of thinking, well, at least there's more Hellions, so maybe he doesn't have a defense, maybe he doesn't have tanks, but yeah, we can see that's not the case. There are already 3 siege tanks ready, and 2 more in production, one of which is already finished in like a second or so. Oh, it already finished. The next one is just already behind. So now it's 5 tanks before this fight of Lambo shows up. There's no way. I will just go ahead and say I just do not think there is a way. I just don't think it's possible. Let's see. The only thing here I would say is that obviously the tanks don't have too much support in front of them. He corrosive bows away a little bit of the Sim City initially. Lambo immediately starts 2-2 upgrades and a round of drones. Infestation Pit as well. His plan from here should be to go into Lurkers and just kind of play Roach Ravager into Lurker. Against someone who's building this many siege tanks, though, I don't think that's going to be a super viable way to play. I don't think that's going to go very well for you at all. Just settle down on the left-hand side and just going to be seeing the Roach Ravager kind of sat behind the gold. Just move back into the center. Marines load up into the medevacs, and around the top side of the map we roll. Obviously, Lambo just wants to kind of open the map up a little bit, but this is going to be the back of his gold base under some fire, and I'm just not feeling it right now for Lambo. I mean, he's getting a few infestors. I actually like that, because I do feel as though if there's a way to maybe bring this back a bit, something like infestors, a good fungal, could create a fight that helps you out a bunch. Needs to pull these gold-based drones away. Yeah, it's just 10 more workers instantly as this drop shows up. And the problem is you have no proper anti-air for a while here, so you've just got no way to really deal with any of this, right? You know, all you can really do is run at it, make it lift up and run away, and then it's like, oh, cool, now what? And the answer to that is not a lot. I'm just going to see our Roach Ravager coming through, a couple vials going down, does connect a couple times on the medevacs, but not enough to get any kills. Again, we're on our way to the Lurkers, but at the moment it's kind of a pure Roach army, and HeroMarine is already building Ghosts as well. He absolutely knows where this game is going to. So HeroMarine absolutely knows what's going on. And if he knows what's going on, well, the rest of this is going to be pretty comfortable. It's going to be seeing our Roach Ravager back through into the center. It's going to be seeing the Marines over here going to go after a chunk of Roaches. So, trying to go through that. Oh, one medevac goes down. Obviously, again, you're split pushing, and then something else the Roach Ravager is not amazing at dealing with. Let's see what the fungals can maybe do, because you get a good fungal off here, maybe. Great fungal growth. Can't lift the Marines up all of a sudden. Refungals. Oh, nice catch from Lambo. That was the miracle fungal, right? That hit everything in the perfect position, and then you just can't get out of that. And the refungal is a good choice, too, because otherwise it's good damage done, but you don't finish anything off. The refungal is worthwhile to just grab basically 16 Marines. Yeah, you take those. You take those chances, and now maybe you have a chance as you head up into a couple of Lurkers. I like it a lot. I wanted the infestors. I thought they were a cool choice given the circumstances. I think they help you survive with this kind of a composition as well. And now we're moving in towards, like I say, the Lurkers. We're going to get there. Now, my biggest fear still for Lambo is that HeroMarine can create a push where he's got a good ghost count, and he's got a very strong backing army because of all these siege tanks. And then the Lurkers can never push into that many tanks. And the Ghosts can continue to push in themselves, and you just slowly get pushed back. Your side of the map gets in a lot of trouble, and that in general is just very painful, as man, these drops have been so bad for Lambo. I mean, he's just not been able to keep track of where they are at all, so HeroMarine has been able to do fantastic stuff. A few drones killed again, just pulling units back. Dropping the main base now, nothing nearby for Lambo again. He pulls a Queen in, it's like, you know, that's not really great, right? As you can see, Queen goes down, gonna kill a Spore Crawler. I mean, finally some Roaches are gonna get here, so I guess you bought time without losing too much in the end, but definitely not brilliant as the medevac lifts up. Those drops have been great. They have been one of the best things of this game from HeroMarine, and he's been playing a great game altogether, right? So, should really emphasize just how good the drops have been for him as we see the Roaches coming through. The medevacs have to lift up, and Lambo, first couple of Lurkers coming through, he's also going to start investing into melee upgrades and a Baneling Nest, because over time he doesn't really want to keep the Roach Ravager. He'd much rather kind of play Lurker Bane and Lurker Ling. So that's what he's trying to set up towards here in the end, as he just doesn't quite get that Ghost, by the way. And snipes have been coming down, Roach Ravager being killed. The income graph has been kind of up and down. Lambo has been having to pull drones so much, it's not been pretty for him. Resources lost is kind of even, though, so that's a good kind of thing, right? That's good news, at least. As these few Marines go down, that was a fungal that was probably not necessary. Lambo just wanted to reestablish his creep up here. If you can get a fungal on some of these Ghosts and then maybe corrosive bile them or so, the fungal will also cancel the snipes, because obviously a snipe cancels the moment you take damage. So a fungal on the Ghosts is really the money shot now. That's the real goal here, is that's just going to be another Ravager snipe down. That's a fungal on the Ghost, though. Those few in the front in some trouble. Corrosive Biles don't hit, though. The Ghosts get away. there was just not a realistic follow-up there, as we only have one Infestor remaining. Just wasn't able to do enough as we come through and kill a Marine. Lambo does have a lot of money. I mean, he has been manning, he's been keeping that money. I'm actually impressed with where Lambo is at when it comes to the economy at the moment, with a, you know, 4K, 2K in the bank. But we have seen HeroMarine play a beautiful game of TvZ earlier against Denver, that game on Hardwire. A great example of how good he can be late game. There's going to be a few ghosts there that get caught. They cloak up at the tail end, though. No Overseer. Because how many Overseers are dead this game already? Just the one, but definitely something that Lambo needs to look at, making sure he's always got the right amount of Overseers around. Otherwise, he's going to constantly be in trouble. Medivacs in the upper right-hand corner. Roach, Ravager, Ling Lurker. Hanging out in the center here. A few snipes coming down. There's a lot of snipes coming down. The Lings are going to start getting through. A couple of ghosts at the front will cloak up. We still don't really have detection. The Infestor's being taken down as well. I mean, these fights are going really heavily in HeroMarine's favor. Again, I kind of, you know, when HeroMarine's playing Denver, I kind of cursed it a little bit by saying, oh, Lambo cursed. He was like, oh, it's only 5,000 resource loss difference. And then Denver traded terribly for a while. In this situation, I was just like, oh, the resources lost is even. Now it's a 5k difference. None of these fights are going well at all for Lambo. And it's definitely causing some trouble as a few drones going down. Finland's going to finish morphing in. Just going to go rolling around a little bit. Going to go through the top side. A couple of Thors on the way up, as well as these few Lings chasing down the Marines. Will catch by all three of them. Meanwhile, Ghost just on the bottom side trying to see what they want to do. As the tank's just going to blow up a couple final roaches. Bane around the right-hand side. Just going to be seeing this Spore Crawler finishing soon as well. And army continuing forward. Again, a lot of this group spread being denied at the moment. It's just clearing out a whole bunch of that. And seeing HeroMarine back up the top with Thors, Ghosts, Tanks. This one Infestor. Just chilling underneath the army. This is pretty cool, because if this can just get like one Miracle Fungal, you never know the difference that could make, right? So it is a possibility, and you kind of know where your opponent is at all this time, right? So you're kind of getting free scouting a little bit. So it's definitely a nice little something, as man. He just lines up the snipe on both Infestors. Just no detection further forward, right? You just need to see those ghosts ahead of time, and HeroMarine is just really bullying Lambo with these ghosts, is what it comes down to. I mean, again, you just have to rebuild the Infestors here. They're expensive. They take up a lot of gas. Lambo is trying to take this top base, so he would be mining 2 bases over his opponent as of right now. If you could keep that up, that obviously does put him in kind of the right direction of maybe being okay here, but there's a long way to go still. Being Lurker in the center. We do have the ghosts falling back a little bit. There's a lot of ghosts on the map as well. How many ghosts are we on right now? 22 as we nuke the right-hand side there. Oh! Whoa! Did he just EMP all the ghosts? He neural the ghosts, and he EMP'd all the other ghosts to try and take some of their energy away. I mean, cool idea that nuke lands with 10 drones, though. I mean, just what's the follow-up? Is this ghost over here sniping Vipers down? Honestly, there's just been a few ghosts that have done so much. Like I say, I mean, the neural... the idea was cool. I just don't... I mean, is that enough to say, okay, you don't have the energy now I can jump on you and actually just take a fight? He's going to try and make his way to Broodlords here, Lambo, which will help him maybe sturdy some of these positions, but I think the problem is he needs to start getting spores out in front of where he wants his army to be, because he needs to see ghosts moving forwards. Too many times are ghosts just showing up, getting a couple snipes off and finding insane value and just waltzing away because they're cloaked and the Overseer isn't in range. We're going to try and take the 6 o'clock. I mean, anything you can do to mine off of these bases is going to help you as this game continues. HeroMarine 2k, 4k in the bank. That's very healthy for the Terran. He's going to trade well in these engagements. As we are 18 minutes deep on Blackburn here. Game 2. HeroMarine down 1 map in this best of 3. Try to mech on Glittering Ashes for game 1. As now we're going to see these Lings wanting to run forward. They are going to go for this fight. The Ghosts just lift up. It means these couple of Thors get abandoned, though, as Siege Tank goes down 2. Obviously not cheap as Lambo loses a good amount of lings, but yeah, forces it back. A couple of Thor kills are nice, especially if you want to make Broodlords. Getting rid of Thors, as they are something that can really fight against Broodlords, is going to be good, as these Lurkers protecting themselves for a moment or so. This is again where you need a fungal growth, and this time the lings are going to run through with it, but there's an EMP, so there's no follow-up fungal, and that means that once the first fungal fades, the ghosts are in the medevacs, and away they go. It's really hard, I feel like, to find the spellcasting you need right now as Lambo to take on this ghost army. It's definitely what it seems to be struggling with, just getting effective spellcasting off and really being able to capitalize on some of the spellcasting he does get done. It's almost like he needs to hit the fungal, then also be ready to abduct the medevacs to lift the ghosts up or something. I see another Overseer snipe down, and I mean, it's going to just get a couple more Lurkers over here, probably this Overseer as well. I mean, these snipes just keep on going. There's a nuke somewhere. I don't actually know where it is. I completely lost track of it. I didn't see it go off on the minimap. I have been cancelled already. 12 Corruptors on the way. Lambo's starting to spend some of this money. Couple more Infestors. He just wants to basically get to kind of, infest a Broodlord. With what, a 2 base advantage over his opponent. 8 against 6. If you can hold the 12 o'clock and the 6 o'clock, that would be the goal here. Resources lost is only 5,000. I feel like it should be so much worse. Am I crazy? I mean, it means that Lambo's not been trading badly for the last little while, as immediately we send some units down here. The couple of Corruptors are going to see that medevac. Will not turn onto it, though. And that just means you're going to have to send a little bit more back to go and deal with this. This army of Lambo is going to become very slow-moving. Will definitely be part of the problem as we spellcast to get rid of a... spellcast to get rid of a ghost there, actually, with the fungal growth. And these few Marines are just annoying. You don't have anything immediately to kind of deal with this. 12 broods on the way. The nuke going to try and line up over here. And it doesn't look like Lambo's quite noticed that nuke, because he's still dealing with these few Marines. This nuke's going to land, and, well, it's going to be a good few drones going down as the fungal... Oh, but the EMPs on everything again. The Infest is just clumping up, taking a ton of damage, and... Well, here come the Broodlords. Can the Broodlords do this? I feel like without Infest energy, no, probably not. Now is like exactly when you need Infestors to have some energy. Nuking the top side again. The bottom side base goes down. I think Lambo's got other things to be concerned about, so that's not the end of the world. It's really nice to be mining from that, but oh, he walked into his own nuke! Oh my goodness, he walked into it. I didn't even think. I thought it was on the other side because he was just up there. He takes some damage on his ghosts and medevacs. They don't go down, but geez, that could have been so much worse. He could have blown up a bunch of his own ghosts right there. It didn't quite connect in my head that that was about to happen. Ghost just running around cloaked on the other side of the map as well, as you see another nuke lining up on the top of the map too. Finally being picked away at. A few tanks coming in, picking off the creep spread, and this is going to be this nuke landing. So now 12 and 6 o'clock bases denied. We'll rebuild on the 6 o'clock, and we're just long distancing it. As Lambo's bank is moving in the wrong direction. 16 broods on the map, and we're still moving 3 more, so he's really just massing broods and infestors, and just hoping that this army composition can be enough. Thor's being added in here as well from HeroMarine. He's going to have everything that kills broods. Thors, Vikings, ghosts. I don't hate where HeroMarine is at when it comes to his army composition. In fact, I think HeroMarine's army composition is pretty freaking good at the moment. Let's see who's dropping down. HeroMarine just wants to replenish with more stuff that will kill off Broodlords. HeroMarine's now kind of gathered up to a 4k bank. Resources lost 6,000. I mean, that's fine if you mine 2 bases more than your opponent. If you get that 12 o'clock back up, if you keep mining the 6 o'clock, that is okay. Another nuke lines up on the gold base. Looks like that was immediately dealt with or cancelled, so... You know, that will not land, and... I mean, the question is... Can you take the fight here, basically? We're killing off siege tanks right now as well. Again, just opening up so much supply for better units here, Marine. That's definitely the idea right now, is just going to be seeing our Overseers getting into just oversight mode. Keep an eye on things. The Broodlord's coming through. Look at the damage those Broodlings do. Well, we knew the Broodlords were going to be scary, but I do believe that HeroMarine has had plenty of time to set him an answer to it. He's going to start pushing the 6 o'clock base again, but at the same time, the Broodlords are kind of pushing forward. Where are we going to go next? Going to start moving up to this high ground? Okay, just clearing out a few of the tanks, taking away some of the defensive positioning. And again, maybe you lose the 6 o'clock, but those drones going to go run to the 12 o'clock at least, so that is something. HeroMarine with the larger bank right now. So that means that Lambo really needs to kind of win this fight big time as we nuke into the bottom center. Like I say, Lambo's kind of moving up to the top. He's actually going to maybe deny this gold base, which would be really nice, right? Because if you can get rid of the gold, that's a pretty big deal. Obviously just going to stop some mining, and that's the one thing that's kind of missing at the moment, is we can abduct in a Liberator and a Ghost. Broodlords will get rid of the Ghost quickly. The Liberator, well, there's not a lot of anti-air to get rid of it. Obviously, there's like fungals and stuff, but you want to be saving those to try and help get rid of the, you know, the groups of Vikings that are going to be coming through, hitting the Ghosts. Obviously, Corrupt is now coming into play as well. Lambo's army, scary. Both armies are scary, actually, in fact. Really, look at the value of Lambo's army. 12k, 9k. I mean, it doesn't get much more expensive than that. Considering it's like 150 army supply as well. Pretty huge deal as we're going to try and deny this base down here. Again, losing these bases is pretty bad for HeroMarine. Yes, he's got a bank for now, but in the long run, it does mean that Lambo is just going to be mining that much more. We are currently nuking the gold base, which has, well, about 300 gas on it, so I'm not sure Lambo was super bothered by that. The big thing might just be lava, though, right? Lava later in this game can definitely be a factor. He loses a Viper here as these large armies are kind of heading into all-out war. Thor's coming through, and this is where the Broodlords need to be careful, because that Thor attack will melt the Broods. And we're going to see the Broods turning around, going to go in for the Thor, so we're going to start fighting. The Banes are going to roll in too. We drop a Neural, but a lot of the Infestors getting hit. I mean, there's a lot of Broodlings out right now. Will it be enough? The Corruptor's forward to fight as well. I did not really think this was going to become the large fight, as the Thor's still trying to get through the Broodlords. Obviously, both players will have to spend money to get their armies back up. A lot of this will come down to whose army rebuilds faster, and I think at the end of the day, it's just going to be HeroMarine's, as he also just has so much left at the end. Toward the tail end, it really started to tilt more in his favor than it did Lambo's. And it does look like we are going to a Game 3 in this series. I was surprised that Lambo took the fight there. I don't think that was the fight. I just don't think Lambo wanted to take a fight. I mean, you consider you've just been... I feel like he's been playing it good, just slowly getting rid of a base or two, right? And just slowly working his way through it. Look at the army graph. He just lost a little bit too much at the end, and that's the problem. He doesn't have a retreat potential once he commits to the fight. So it's hard to say, like, oh crap, I don't want to be here, let's back it up. Still a few spores out down the bottom side. Changelings are moving around the top. I mean, again, if you'd been able to mine off these bases more comfortably, it's a different story, but now the money is gone. And he just doesn't have a full-on maxed-out army to show for it anymore, right? And that's the issue. HeroMarine's bank is also gone. Like, his bank rebuilt, like, very quickly here. But, yeah, I just don't think there's going to be enough anymore, right? HeroMarine's actually going to take control of this bottom side base. That's really important. Things are going to come around here, and obviously the 12 o'clock must stay alive at this point for Lambo. That's just not a question. He's now got these lurkers going. Well, back to the lurkers, I suppose, as we switch up compositions. To be fair, you've now got lurkers against Thors. I mean, that's definitely a factor, right? As this nuke is going off. Where the hell's the Ghost? Oh, on that high ground. It's a really nice nuke. That lands for quite a lot. The Ghost blows itself up, unfortunately. All these lurkers, like I say, can the lurkers be just good enough because of the fact that, you know, lurkers are not kind of the composition that HeroMarine's army is built to deal with? I think the problem is the Liberators are just a bit too good against the lurkers, and you don't have an answer to the Liberators. I think that's definitely going to be the bigger issue right now, is Thors get rid of this base that was previously nuked. 27 SCVs have gone down. HeroMarine does not have a lot of money left in the bank. It's, again, the standing army that's the problem, and of course, the power of mules. We catch a few Thors, though, and I mean, that's 18 supply. That's going to help you out big time. Get rid of that last one, please. Lambo, kill it. It's important. I think you need to get everything you can right now if you want to try and win this game. HeroMarine is barely mining. He's going to lift an orbital down to the bottom. I guess you lift one to the top left. Lambo has this base going, and he has a couple mutas. I'm not sure if that's just a watch for base moving there. This base is so fresh. It's got so much money on it. Lambo needs to do something about that base. The thing is, it's an easy base to fight, because if you can just get here, how does the Terran ever fight that? Well, you kind of don't really, not effectively. These couple of Broodlords are just kind of left, and yeah, you kind of realize what's happening here is Lambo. He's going to move in. That Orbital's dead. The Hydras will get it, I think. Doesn't want to target fire, wants to be careful of the zoning. Obviously, Ghost coming through. That's a fungal growth on the Ghost, though. The Hydras kind of want to fight. He's got more fungals, but you got to be careful of the EMPs. He's backing off. You see a snipe or two going down, and it's again that efficiency of the Ghost that are going to help HeroMarine a lot here. As 22 SCVs, still not a lot of mining in the game. Lambo's army down by about 40 army supply, but maybe, just like I said before, better army supply, because a lot of these Thors don't really mean a lot right now. We move up to the top. These Vikings are still just over here. If we could just pick up on those for free, that would be neat, but you don't want to give them, you don't really want to give away units for it, as, yep, Vikings move command through. Lambo is slowly just trying to pick apart HeroMarine, just trying to pick away at something here and something there, just trying to find what the hell he can get done. A few more Hydras on the way from Lambo. HeroMarine has 0 gas, by the way. He needs this base to really start mining. He can only really build Marines in the last little while. This gold actually has gas on it as well, but Lurkers are going to stop the SCVs there. We're back over here, and again, how many orbitals do we have left on the map? 7. Okay, so kind of quite a few, but it's definitely potentially like a long-term, a bit of a problem, right? Fungal's going to land on those ghosts, so that's going to cancel the snipes. Going to get a couple more snipes lined up, though, and there's 2 more dead Lurkers. Can you deal with this over time as Lambo? He's mining a full base top side. He needs to get a few drones on that gas as well, though, I'd imagine. He's mined out everywhere else, right? So it's really the fight over this base. He could take the top left. I know it's not an easy position to take, but it's a possibility. Here comes the army of Lambo, which really right now would need to get rid of these medevacs to stop these units from getting away. That's kind of the problem. The thing is, these medevacs can be hunted by the Lurkers and the by the Vipers and the Infestors. We've got a Liberator here that's going to get abducted in. These orbitals in some trouble. I believe they've already dropped. No, they haven't dropped the Mulehammer down over here. 2 Thors are pushing forward into 9 bases of Lambo as well. Remember that lava can become an issue maybe further down the line. Not like right now, but it's a possibility. The army supply is now 111 to 104. I mean, this was a huge disadvantage that we've brought back as Hydras are moving through here. HeroMarine's army is kind of melding. These Liberators are going to go down. Lings are chasing him for Thors, and Infestor finds a fungal growth, and Lambo gets the fight. Let's just watch that one more time, because it happened so quick. Because everything just happened in a moment there, as Lambo gets the 2-0 over HeroMarine. This fight just kind of breaks out, so what goes down? These units are trying to move through. They kind of get themselves caught in a Sim City. They move forward. We get a couple of snipes who just move forward here, and he just lands a fungal that catches so many units, and the first set of Lurker shots is just massive. And again, you've got a lot of Thors that just aren't very effective against the current composition, and that's GG. Wow.